Did somebody ask for more My Hero content? What's up, guys? It's me, Deshaun, your host with the most. I hope y'all are loving my generic YouTuber voice. But outside of that, let me remind you guys to like and subscribe if you like this video. But not only this, consider subscribing to our Patreon. A link to our Patreon will be as a pinned comment in the comment section below. You guys don't have to do this. It's optional. You know, I do appreciate the support that I'm already getting. But if you guys want to consider and you want to help us get better equipment and help our videos get better, it's there right there for you. Now that the boring YouTube theatrics are over, let's get a whiff of this gas. So if you guys already didn't make the connection about this being a video about Aoyama being the traitor of UA, well, here you are. So everybody basically has an idea on who they think the traitor is from UA. You know, there are theories about the traitor being Froppy, Aoyama, and even Kaminari. Or maybe if you want to be really quirky with it, hold up, you see what I did there? Quirky. I swear that was unintentional, but, you know, if you want to be really quirky with it, a lot of people have been saying Kirishima, or, you know, if you want to be really, really quirky with the My Hero theories, All For One is Deku's dad. Okay, with all jokes aside, I'm going to explain to you guys why I believe that Aoyama is actually the traitor in My Hero Academia. Now, the first things that come to mind when people think of Aoyama being the traitor, they think of how he snuck up on Midoriya's balcony and was basically stalking him. And they also like to talk about how Aoyama was breaking the fourth wall at the USJ incident. Now, I do think that these are very interesting observations because obviously Horikoshi wouldn't put those there for no reason. And personally, I do think that these are viable reasons for people to jump to the conclusion that he might potentially be the spy, but there's actually a lot more to it than that. Obviously, you could just debunk these two claims as if they were jokes, you know. Aoyama was breaking the fourth wall because it was a joke, and Aoyama was on Midoriya's balcony because he's just a weirdo and he wanted to talk to Midoriya. Again, you could very easily debunk these, but if you look at the grander scale of it all, Aoyama as a character definitely has a bigger role in terms of this story, whether or not he actually turns out to be the traitor of UA. You see, usually in storytelling, the characters that are first introduced are the ones that usually have a more prevalent role within the story. Again, I'm not saying this happens all the time, but this is generally how it is. And then when you take into consideration that Aoyama was also revealed alongside Uraraka and Ida, I think that should be proof enough of his more prevalent role. And then his reoccurrences throughout the series, such as the infamous balcony scene and many others. So I think it's safe to say that Aoyama has a bigger role in the story than you'd initially think. Now, whether or not that role will be him being the UA traitor, we'll just have to wait and see. But I definitely have my reasons for thinking that he would be the traitor. Now, the first thing that we should talk about would be Aoyama's motive as the traitor or spy. Compared to characters like Hagakure, Kaminari, Froppy, or even, again, Kirishima, the one thing that sticks out to me about Aoyama would be his motive. When it comes to the characters I just named, I really can't think of or fathom any type of motive that they'd have to want to side with the League of Villains or potentially betray UA. Now, if we look at this scene during the provisional hero license exam arc, it's pretty obvious that Aoyama has a survival of the fittest mindset. If we look closely at this altercation with him and Ida. Are you alone, Ida? What a coincidence, so am I. And then Ida responds, I'm supporting our fellow members of Class A as much as possible. I managed to gather a few in one place, but I'm in the search of others. Yaoyorozu is with the other group. She should be more than capable of leading them to victory. Then Aoyama responds to this by saying, how strange. You don't even know who might be left out there. What will one do when the others take their wins and leave you behind? To then Ida responds, I found you, didn't I? If the others pass the test without me, that's great. And as you can see, Aoyama is shocked by Ida's response. I'm the president of Class A, one meant to lead the others. I want to buy the class as much time as possible with these legs of mine. That's what my brother would do. In that way, my actions will reflect the dreams I pursue. Aoyama, touched by this, contemplated, thinking about what Ida said about reflecting his dreams. Then Aoyama asked himself, Papa, Mama, why am I so different from everyone else? Touched by Ida's words, Aoyama performs an act that's different from his usual self when compared to when he first appeared in the series. While Midoriya was facing one of the training robots, he took advantage of this and used Midoriya as an opportunity to make points for himself. And then cockily said, "Thank you, I appreciate the assist, but I doubt we'll meet again." This is a perfect example of his every man for himself mentality. But if you're still not convinced, I'd say him hiding when the villains appeared is a perfect example of how he's only worried about himself and his own survival. But what made this instance so different was the fact that he thought about what Ida said, reflecting his dreams. Now I hope this isn't too confusing and I hope you guys are all up to speed, so let's think about it. What exactly is Aoyama's dream, and how does this play into his motives as the UA traitor? Papa, Mama, why am I so different from everyone else? One's dreams. I always wanted to feel equal. Now what exactly does this sound like to you guys? Does this sound familiar? I'm only here 'cause Stain inspired me to take action. I was born in a real backwater place, stuck in the last century. Around here, I was known as the Lizard Freak, and I just accepted it. The whole time, my heart was totally empty. Why can't you just be normal? Act like a normal little girl! You people ain't heroes. Never are, never were. None of you. You throw us to the wolves. All of us downtrodden folks. Every stinking one of them's just another model citizen. You're different, Miyagi. I respect that. I don't. Papa, Mama, why am I so different from everyone else? The League of Villains are different. They aren't normal. They aren't equal. And with Aoyama's dream of wanting to feel equal, and his survival of the fittest mentality, you could see why he would actually side with the League of Villains. Because he would inevitably want change. He would want to chase his dream and feel equal. But if Aoyama's motives weren't enough to convince you as to why he could potentially be the traitor, or may actually be the traitor, I still have some very interesting topics to bring up for the rest of this video. And the first one just so happens to be his actual character design. I don't know if I have some sort of warped perception, but Aoyama as a whole, his character actually looks as if he would be a spy. From his elegant, or I guess you could say fancy man type of personality, it gives off a lot of James Bond-esque vibes, or your stereotypical evil spy-esque vibes. Keep in mind this dude has giant ass sunglasses for his hero costume. And I personally wouldn't be surprised if Horikoshi tried to have fun writing a character with this stereotype, because it would be so obvious to think he's a spy. But then again, you would second guess yourself until it's finally revealed that he actually is a spy. And then it would make sense because of how naturally he actually fits that role. And when you actually look at the League of Villains, they're missing that one role of the flamboyant antagonist. So I definitely feel like he has a spot in their group. But not only this, I feel like Horikoshi wants to fully utilize the uncanny sense of horror that he actually gives Aoyama. After all, Aoyama does a lot of strange things. But not only this, no one could ever tell what he's actually thinking. Weird and creepy moments such as the time Aoyama force-fed Midoriya cheese, or the time he was outside of Midoriya's balcony. Horikoshi made these moments feel unsettling on purpose, so it only makes me wonder what he actually has in store for his character. And when you take into consideration that Midoriya is narrating the story and he says it was then that he started to reveal his true nature. So these moments were the start of his true nature. Again, we don't necessarily know what exactly his true nature is, because the moments that transpire are only the start of it. After all, him becoming friends with Aoyama would be him slowly realizing what his true nature is. Aoyama did these really weird and creepy things, but with good intentions as he wanted to be friends with Midoriya. Again, these things were creepy as shit, so that could only make you help but wonder, what exactly would it be like if you were on Aoyama's bad side? If he likes you, he's gonna force feed you cheese and stand outside your balcony at midnight. But just exactly what will happen if he doesn't like you? It's been evident that Aoyama has been watching Midoriya for a long time now, since the entrance exam. He's been watching him so much that he's even noticed how Midoriya has become more frantic than ever. Still waters run deep, but just how deep is Aoyama's water? We know why he has an interest in Midoriya, because they are both alike. And it seems to me at some point Aoyama would come forth to Midoriya and actually try to make him join the league, since they have so much in common. And it really interests me in what exactly Aoyama would say now that the whole entire class knows that Midoriya currently has one for all. And as for Aoyama's true nature, we'll just have to wait and see what exactly that is. After all, I find it rather strange how when Aoyama and Uraraka were fighting 9, when you take into account his interest for Midoriya, I find it rather strange how he was able to read Uraraka like a book in that situation and come to the conclusion that she was thinking about Midoriya. But not only this, the black ominous panel that Aoyama's in, where he has this Shadow Dio-esque shading, makes me wonder if this is what he's actually like. Because not only is it a good sense of uncanny horror, since nobody knows what Aoyama is ever thinking, but I found that Aoyama's actions in this scene are rather manipulative, as if he knew that if he would have said that to Uraraka, she would have let go of the ledge or railing and he would have successfully used her as bait to save himself in that situation. And this would tie perfectly into his fend for yourself mentality. It was only a matter of luck that 13 would have stopped using her black hole and Uraraka would have instinctively taken her down with her gunhead martial arts. And in this moment, this tells us everything we need to know about Aoyama's character. He's good at reading people and using them. And these traits are not only the perfect traits of a villain, but also the perfect traits for a traitor. Keep in mind, if this situation were to play out and this wasn't training, 13 or a villain could have killed her right then and there. If 13 didn't notice how Uraraka let go of the railing, Uraraka would have been sucked up by 13's black hole, and this would have ultimately led to her death. Now, despite all of these things that I've mentioned in this video, there's still things that are kind of leaving this open for interpretation, because if Aoyama was the traitor, why would he try and shoot Mr. Compress in the head? Honestly, I sure as hell don't fucking know. Maybe he was being manipulative in that situation, but there's no real concrete answer, so I'm not gonna jump to that conclusion. But regardless, I still feel like that doesn't devalue any of the other things that I mentioned in this video. Even if Aoyama doesn't turn out to be the traitor, I do feel like he's going to play a lot more of a major role later on in the series. Now, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you guys think of this in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out.